let's talk about moving out of there. Can we talk about another quarterback that we've heard a lot about in recent days? Can we talk Aaron Rodgers?
Let's do it.
I mean, I've heard so much from Aaron Rodgers now. Like, first he was on Jeopardy. Now his future with the Green Bay Packers is in jeopardy. He's making comparisons. Teammates are coming out saying, he told them last season he wouldn't be here. I mean, I get that with Love, and I would be disgruntled by some of their draft picks, no doubt. I don't have a lot of faith in that. But does he have the pull, number one, to get his GM gone? Number two, isn't it harder because there's no owner in Green Bay? And what do you have to do to actually get that done? I don't even know what that process is, right? Is there somebody who can pull the trigger? Because the GM's not going to fire himself. That much is certain. And were the Broncos tipping their hat, bring that back, to the fact that they would like to get Aaron Rodgers by not getting a quarterback and actually selecting Surtain?
I think the Broncos would love to have Aaron Rodgers. I just don't know if they're going to be able to pull it off. I don't know what Green Bay is going to be willing to accept. I think they're going to play this game of, okay, Aaron, sit at home. We'll just play Jordan Love. Like, I honestly feel like, yes, they'd love to have Aaron Rodgers, but the Packers are not going to fall into a trap and, let him have his way. It's difficult. As you said, they don't have an owner, but does that even enable their quarterback more? Because he becomes almost the biggest voice in the room. Like, if Tom Brady in New England were to say something, like Robert Kraft is the guy that would step in, right? Ultimately, he has the decision, or Bill Belichick even above that. So it's really interesting.
The president? Who hires in Green Bay?
I don't even know.
Is it the president? Because who is above the GM? And I honestly had never really thought about it before, right? In terms of a Green Bay scenario, because why would you, right? Like, it's not usually like we get the decision. But is going to Green Bay the most secure general manager job in the world, since there is no owner?
Yes.
And who made the decision to part ways with Mike McCarthy? Because wasn't that Aaron Rodgers being upset too? And
that was pretty much Aaron Rodgers having his way and wanting a new coach because he was sick of McCarthy.
Right. So now he's been sick of the head coach. He got rid of that guy. Now I'm sick of the GM. Can I get rid of that guy too? And will I then crown myself prince of everything because I've now gotten rid of everyone? Would you like to make the hiring decision too, Aaron? Or would you like to be the GM and the quarterback?
I think Aaron Rodgers wants to be LeBron James. I think that's what he's going for. He wants to be the coach, the GM, the star player. He wants to be everything.
I mean, right now I'm thinking, who is acting like a big prima donna?
Did you hear what Terry Bradshaw said about Aaron Rodgers at all?
Wasn't it that he made me think he was a baby or weak or something?
He said something along those lines, yes.
Yes, it was something that made me think that this is kind of Aaron Rodgers-esque right now. Like, you see the monkey here? Like, I don't know what's going on, but it's not right. Like, this is not actually, but this is how I would feel right now with the ups and downs of being a Green Bay Packers fan. Like, are we advancing? Are we going backwards? Who fires the GM? He's already fired the head coach. And I mean, I get it, right? Like, I wanted him to have more weapons as well. But at what time, at what place is all of your, tricks of the trade becoming just being a really not team person at all, right? Like, if I'm teammates, I'm starting to go, oh okay, like, fearless leader or not?
Can I be realistic about this situation right now? The Green Bay Packers do not have a bad roster. Can we stop this? Okay, I'll go through the roster for you right now.
Do it.
They have Aaron Jones, who is a top 10 running back. They have Devontae Adams, who is a top 2, maybe number 1 receiver. They had a tight end who caught over 10 touchdowns. They had a left tackle who's an all-pro. They had the best center in the league, who they didn't re-sign, but they did have the best center in the league. They had Kenny Clark in the D-line, who's a stud, a Pro Bowler. Zadarius Smith, who's a double-digit sack player. They have Jair Alexander, who's a Pro Bowl cornerback. They have all of these players. I mean, this is a loaded team. Sure, could you have another receiver? Was it a mistake to take Jordan Love or A.J. Dillon? Would you like to have those picks back? Yes. But at a certain point, like, where are you going that's better than this situation? 1. And number 2, you're running out of excuses as to why you can't win this elusive Super Bowl that you've been chasing.
Especially if you got your head coach fired, your GM fired, and you're never happy. Like, I mean, and reports are that they've offered him contract deals that would make him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. And then what? Brett Favre said, "Oh, it's not about money. It's not about money. There's plenty of money. It's about, you know what, like, just what you need to be surrounded by or something." I forget what he said, but I go, okay. I mean, of course, if I'm a quarterback, I want targets, no doubt. Mm-hmm. I mean, there are certain things that, yeah, I want. But at some point, like, I question what kind of teammate you are. Like, who are you to be around? And is it always going to be about you? Or is it ever going to be like, I don't know, you'd be Tom Brady and like take a pay cut so that you could bring back all of the starters and have the, you know, the fixings to have another dynasty. Like, at what point do I want to be surrounded by Aaron Rodgers, who is complaining about everything, versus, say, Patrick Mahomes, who was complaining about another player who's not even on his team potentially losing his dollars for an off-season workout that they now don't have to do because, you know, he was working out and got injured not at the facility. So
Juwan James.
Right. And you have Mahomes standing up for a guy who's not even on his team, right? And saying, this makes me question the CBA, as it should. And at the same time, you have Aaron Rodgers saying, well, we should fire everybody. And I just know it doesn't matter what you do. I'm not coming back here. I don't like it. Like, I'm taking my ball and I'm going home.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I think the comparisons between, you brought up Brady, you brought up Mahomes. I think that's the thing about Aaron Rodgers, where I've never quite been a fan of him myself, is I appreciate the talent, but he's never given off the vibe of a true leader. And I think that is what has held him back from winning more championships. He's a 3-time MVP. He's a Hall of Famer. There's no doubt. He's one of the greatest talents of all time, but you can be the most talented player ever. But if you do not lead a team, you know, to just properly, you can be held back. You can hold yourself back. So Aaron Rodgers is a fascinating case. I don't want to see him get traded because I think of him as a Packer. And I also think that's kind of the easy way out. I don't want Green Bay to just be like, oh, we're going to trade you, unless they get one heck of a haul, really.
Right. And, you know, but then you do look at the Broncos and you think it doesn't quite make sense. I mean, I know we had Teddy there, right? So you could say it was faith in Teddy that kept them from picking a quarterback, or you could say they had their eyes on the prize elsewhere and went and, you know, put stock in their defense. How do you feel about that? I mean, we hear rumors of Denver. Like, that's really all I've heard is like Denver. So if it's not Green Bay, it's Denver. Do you think we knew that before the draft? How do you feel about Denver?
Well, on paper, Denver's the only place that it would actually make sense because they're the only team that's not necessarily tied to a quarterback. Even though they traded for Bridgewater, I believe most of his contract's being paid by Carolina. I think he's only being paid like $3 million by Denver. Drew Lock's on a rookie contract. Maybe they could send Drew Lock to Green Bay as another, a competition piece for Jordan Love, potentially another young quarterback there. They certainly have no other needs outside of quarterback, and they are a team that is in win now. As we've discussed, they have a loaded roster across the board, everything that Aaron Rodgers could ask for. Plus, he wants to be on the West Coast or near the West Coast. So it would make sense for Rodgers. It would make sense for the Broncos. It's just up to the Packers if they want to make the move.